been set quite high, and I'm an amateur, I often use this quote, and many others in this talk, in my professional development. When I teach teachers, I like to hear, "You make my brains hurt." And brains don't hurt. Our brains will hurt if we get students to stretch their minds, right? That often is not what happens. One of the hardest professional development teaching standards is knowing when. When to lead, when to model, and when to let students struggle. Because we want them to have wonderful ideas, as Eleanor Duckworth, the science educator, has said. And those wonderful ideas, you see, this was a long slide. All right. And so, because they come to us, children come to us with wonderful ideas. Example, no news is impossible. Impossible, they said. That was not. Okay, and I have to say one more. And one of the other ones they say is, a penny is not much. So Thomas Armstrong said, only when we recognize that different kids learn in different ways are we truly in the business of education. And John Dewey said, okay, that's true, but it is often hard to provide the opportunities for this to happen. But it's even more difficult to let it happen. But some people still haven't gotten it. No? Because we're still thinking about the standard algorithm, right? And so it's not an algorithm, or it's not effective algorithms. It is the standard algorithm. Yeah, and I say that the standard algorithm has worked so well that students throughout our nation can answer mathematics questions correctly, yet have no idea of the meaning of the question. My favorite quote caused me some disequilibrium. If my students' papers all look the same, then I know I'm denying them access to mathematics. Does that hit anyone? But there are people outside of mathematics education that celebrate that people think differently. Although I'm kind of thinking it may be a little maybe not the one I should be referencing. But Margaret Mead, there was always trust Margaret Mead, because she did say we must educate our children in what no one knew yesterday and prepare our schools for what no one knows yet. Algebra for all. Is the algebra in the Common Core standards the right algebra? Will it prepare our children for what we don't know? And then there's quotes from teachers. After implementing a lesson that a teacher had seen videotaped on equality, the teacher comes back to the room with us, very excited, saying, "They can think!" And the third grade teacher, who after watching a lesson being modeled in his classroom, said, "My expectations aren't high enough." Here's a quote for you to read and for you to reflect on. And you have about 10 seconds. John Dewey again talks about equity because he said that many of the obstacles for change which have been attributed to human nature are due to institutions and the desire of powerful classes to maintain the existing status. And the work of Julian Weisglass, who you know never sugarcoats anything, agrees with Dewey, saying the assumptions from the dominant groups serve to the disadvantage of students from non-dominant groups. A third perspective is about the need for diverse leadership. I long for the day that someone like me no longer has to think, am I here because I can contribute, or I'm here because I'm brown? But yet I have faith, because progress is not created by contented people, and I hope for sure you are not content. And as a leader, I'm leaving you with two quotes. one is, it is not up to you to finish the work, but neither are you free not to take it up. And I want you, as you're doing the work, to remember this quote, this Native American saying.